lovely lot, how are you all? I'm back today with another Christmas video, and when I say Christmas video, obviously I mean Christmas card making video. I'm using this brand new stamp set from Stampin' Up called, well, the bundle is Christmas Time Is Here, and I've seen some stunning cards made with this, but lots of people have used the framelits and cut the paper out. I'll show you which rows they're using. It's in the designer paper. There are 4 sheets of 3 different designs. So you have this lovely one here with the 2 different colour roses and the plain green background. Oh no, there we are, 4, I can't count. Then you have this lovely one here, which I'm actually going to be using in mine, which has got the gold, the shiny gold in it, and it's got this lovely background to it. Excuse me. And then lots of people are cutting out this cluster of flowers here using the framelits, and that's got that background to it with the pine cones. But I want to do something slightly different, and I'm using the stamp set, but I'm actually using the filler part. These pieces will actually fill in the blank rows here, but I wanted to use it more as a watercolour piece. So here we go. I've changed my colours up slightly because I've used in this one here real red and shaded spruce, but I'm going to try cherry cobbler and old olive for my next one. I've also used an old embossing folder which was Stampin' Up, but I think they've retired it, but it gives you like the pine tree leaves up in the corner. So I'm going to use that, and there's also in the new bundle there's this lovely ribbon here and these lovely glitter gold dots. There we go. My light's doing a little bit of a funny thing tonight because it's about 4:15 and it's just starting to go dark outside, but I've got my light on, so sorry if the colours are not completely true. So let me show you how I did it. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut myself a big square of Whisper White, and for this I'm using the Stamper Artist. I found it a lot easier to line all the different elements up. So just making sure everything's tight in the corner. Once again, here comes the magnet warning. Make sure you don't put them together because they are a bit of a tinker to separate. And what you want to do, you need to give yourself enough space where you're putting your rows to put all your leaves on the outside, because it breaks it into sections. So there's the rose part here, and then you've got all these other little leaf shapes around the outside that sort of fit in. And what I did is I used this one to remind me of where everything's going to go, because if you can see there's little tiny pine cones as well, and I didn't stamp those straight away on the last one, and then I sort of filled them in. So hopefully now I'll be remembering where they go. So there we go, bringing in my cherry cobbler. There we are. I must say I left it till the last day of pre-order to order this, but it is so lovely in the flesh. There we go. So I'm going to put my cherry cobbler to one side then. I'm just going to press it down and then carefully peel it up. And as you can see, because my cherry cobbler is probably slightly juicier than my real red, it's giving me quite a dark image, but is one that's closer to the designer paper that I'm using. Now, red often stains your photopolymer stamps, but worry not, they'll be absolutely fine and dandy. You can see it's still bringing off pink there, and I'm just using a wet wipe. As you can see, each time I wipe it over, it is bringing up more colour. look at the state of my fingers. I'll be in the gym tonight and they'll be wondering what on earth I've been up to. So, once I've done this then, I'm going to bring in the leaves. And when I did on the other one, on my first try, excuse me, I'm a bit croaky now since I've started speaking, I set them all up together. So, that goes on that side. As I say, I'm using this to help me. Then this one goes there, I think. Go there. Excuse me while I just have a little argument with myself. I'm being really daft now. No, it goes on this side. There it is. And then this one goes here, like that. So now I'm going to pick all these three up together with the door of the Stamparatus. It's determined, because photopolymer stamps tend to be a little bit stickier, they will often pull your piece of paper up, which is why it's important to butt into the corners here and to use your magnets. So here we are now with Old Olive. Now my Old Olive is exactly what it says on the tin, is old. So it's a little bit drier. I'm just going to bring up all this, because otherwise, knowing me, I'll get it on the card. Like that. And what you can see with these fuller stamps, you can see the ink just coming off the stamp. And you can see then whether to give it a bit of a harder press. There it is. So now I'm going to clean those up and I'm going to put in the filler pieces. As I say, I've seen lots of people cut out the lovely cluster of flowers in the designer paper, but I wanted to show what you can do with the stamp set after you've used the designer paper up. And I just like the fact of a watercolour card. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to add in these little pine cones. The one is here. There's only one little tiny pine cone, so you've just got to do it in 3 different steps. And I'm using early espresso for that. There we go. There's one. As I say, once again, using this to help me, because I know that the framelit actually fits this huge flower here. And there's one here. Just flatten that back down. Like that. And then there's one over in this corner. Then you've even got all the little sprays that are showing on here. Now on the paper they stamp it in red, but I'm actually stamping it in gold. You could also heat emboss it if you wanted to. If you want to do it in Versamark, you could heat emboss it. Gives quite a nice soft image, I think, with just using like the filler pieces. There we go. That's all the pine cones and the leaves and the flower. Then I'm going to attempt to stamp these little swirly pieces. What have I done with the actual rose? Oh, I know, I can see it. Just ignore me. So, next job then is to try to work out where these ones go. I think that one's going here. Right, yeah. And actually there's little holes in the leaves for the gold to show through. So as I say, I'm using, this is the old gold I had quite a few years ago, but because I haven't bought the new gold I've got, but you could use any gold ink pad, or as I say, you could do heat embossing, or in the paper it's actually in brighter reds, you could do that instead. There's that one there. What I'm going to do, I'm going to actually leave them on here and stamp all the others at the same time, because it's had quite a lot of use lately. My gold is going a bit more faded. So that one there. Then, was it that? Now, as I say, it is a bit trickier to line them all up. But to be honest, the first time I did it, I didn't line them up at all. And then I just filled in with them. So nobody's going to know, are they? I put that one there. Little tinkers they are tonight. Hang on. Right. Then, what does that one go there? Look at it. It's like it is like a jigsaw. There we are. I'm going to put that one there. I'm going to put this one back down here. And the way I see it, nobody's going to be any wiser, are they? I'm going to pick these up like this, flatten it down, then I'm going to apply my gold ink all over, and I might have to stamp this a couple of times. Obviously you might be lucky and have a much brighter gold than me. I've got the lovely bright copper, but it's gold in the paper. Now I'm just going to stamp it again. Or the other thing you could do, if you haven't got gold ink or gold embossing powder, is you could just fill in the spaces with a gold pen. There we go. There, so there's my spray of flowers. What I'm going to do now, I'm just going to put that to one side for now, because the gold will smudge, and I'm going to make up the rest of my card. I'm just going to put the stamps away because I'll forget where they are otherwise. I cannot believe how quickly this week has gone. It's flown by this week, which means we're getting ever closer to our nativity that we haven't started yet. So my plan for the rest of tomorrow and next week is to start singing some Christmas songs. There we go. I'm just popping this aside over here. I'm going to leave it open, and then I'm just going to heat emboss it if needed, and I'm going to bring this in then. So I've got this piece here that I'm going to back onto. This is just a generic gold card I found. There. I've seen lots of these sort of embossing folders. I just wanted something, some little detail, but not too much to take away from the Christmas rose. Got to be careful because my hands are so filthy. And I have treated myself to the new paper trimmer. And I must say, it's lovely to use. I was never that impressed with the old one. I used to find, and you just move this out here. I used to find that my blades went really blunt on the old one, but these ones, the blades are much bigger. So if you are looking for a new paper trimmer, I highly recommend it. Now on this one, I'm going to put the paper going the other way, just so I use up the piece of paper really. There we are. I'm just going to trim a little bit off the top now. put that out to the side. And then I'm sticking this piece to that piece. And I'm going to put a bow up in the corner. I like the fact that the framelit cuts out the big rows, and as I say, it fits the paper as well, which is fab, the big rose cluster on the paper. So if you're in a bit more of a rush, a nice simple card to make then. This one is a little bit more fiddly. Or the other thing you can do is stamp the main outline in VersaFine or Memento and then colour it in yourself. Right, I'm going to make a little bow. I've done my sentiment ready. So I just make 2 loops and then put the one under the other. And I tend to make very simple bows because I'm not the best bow maker. I still do my laces up with 2 bunny ears, so I haven't progressed much since I was little. I'm just going to cut them at an angle then. I'm just going to pull it a little bit smaller. And then using a glue dot, I'm going to attach that in the corner of the card. These are the mini glue dots. There we go. Just going to attach that up there, like that. Then it's got a lovely, let me show you what the framelets look like. There they are. So I've used this piece here, this one here, to cut that shape, and then this one to cut the gold mat. There it is. So there's my sentiment, but I don't want to stick that down yet until I've cut my rows out. I'm going to just check if my gold is dry. Yeah, appears to be. There we go. So then, what I'm going to do then is work out which way this goes on. And it's not that way. Okay, this is big confession time. I completely made a hash of this because no matter how many times I twirled it and swirled it around, as you can see, I've stamped my leaves in the wrong place. Hence me having to turn off the video in a bit of a mad panic to think, I've messed this up completely. So, let me come up with an easier way of showing you how to do it. I have succeeded eventually. There it is. So what I did is I have cut one out. I've cut out the piece ready in Whisper White. Then I'm using this as a little bit of a template, and I have stuck this onto a piece of white cardstock. If you can see there, this is my little template. I've then matched the leaves into the grooves of the cut file, and then I'm going to ink it up and cut it out. What a fool. I have no idea how I managed to do it perfectly the first time. It must have just been more luck than judgment. But then as you stick it down, it will be, you can use this then as your guide, and as you can see, you are stamping in the right place. Okay, so then that gives you your guide then. I hope I haven't put you off after buying this stamp set. Now you'll all think, stay well away from that. That was just me being an absolute plank. So then, I don't know how many wet wipes I've just been through. Not wiping my tears. Then, you simply continue, say simply, it's not I haven't made it look very simple at all. And then you sort of just use this as your template then to work out where your Christmas rose is going. And it will make the whole process a lot easier for you. Just to show once more. So pick up, lay it in the right place first, then stamp it down, just waiting for all the colour to come off. And then when you come to cut it out, then I just use this as an example piece. When you come to cut it out, you simply take your little template off, your little mask, so to speak. Doesn't matter about the factor's ripped because it's going to be cut out. And then you can line up your cutting die like that. Obviously you would have stamped everything else, and then at least you'll know you'll have a perfect image. So that's the problem with live television, obviously. This is what used to happen on Blue Peter all of the time. So once again, back to my card. No wonder my fingers are so red and green. So all you need to do then is decide where you want your leaves to go with your sentiment. I'm going to put my sentiment on foam pads. I don't know what I'm doing now. That's probably how not to make a card. Dear me. Sometimes you think, right, I need to quit while I'm ahead, but I wanted to show you that there is an easier way to do it. If at first you don't succeed, try again. This is what I tell the children in school. Or the other one could be, don't do it the way Nicola does it, but try again. There we go. And then I'm just going to put my sentiment on using foam pads. And I'm just going to tuck that under the leaves, and then I'm going to have a cup of tea and a chocolate biscuit to get over the trauma of this video. I hope it wasn't as traumatic for you watching it. You're probably thinking, when I was trying to get it to line up, oh, that doesn't look very simple. There we go. And that's the finished card. How easy is that? It is actually really easy once you've worked out what you're doing. How on earth I managed to line it up the first time, I've no idea. Because, as I say, it must be more luck than judgment. So, once again, either cut out your piece first. Like this. This is to remind me to take my speaker to school tomorrow. Either cut it out like this and then adhere this to your stamper artist and stamp all these pieces down, or use the negative image as a template, put it on your piece of card in your stamper artist, and then use that to help you line up the images. I hope that hasn't put anyone off. I hope my new subscribers are not thinking, what on earth is this donut on about? Have a lovely relaxing evening, and hopefully after a long lie down and a cup of tea, I'll see you soon. Hwyl fawr!